Dear learners, welcome. The purpose of this video is to improve your listening skills, and it helps you understand the story by providing vocabulary. There are also some comprehension questions and a quick competition that you can answer. By the way, enjoy this video, and I hope you like the story. Okay, let's begin. Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. Vocabulary Review. Chapter 4. Burn. To destroy, damage something by fire or to be destroyed by fire. Stream. A small, narrow river. Cover. To put or spread something over something in order to hide. Throw. To send something from your hand through the air by moving your hand quickly. Board. A long, thin piece of strong, hard material, especially wood, that is used for building walls, roofs, boats, etc. or used for a particular purpose. Bow. A bow composed of a long, thin piece of wood twisted into a curve by a tightly stretched string. Arrow. A thin stick with a sharp point at one end, which is shot from a bow. Feather. One of the many soft light parts covering a bird's body. Beat. To hit violently or forcefully and repeatedly. Path. A route that is made by the action of people walking or a narrow walk or way. Chapter 4. A Girl Alone. Many sad days passed after that, but I do not remember them well. The village was a quiet, empty place. I remembered the dead. I remembered those who were across the sea. I decided that I could never live in my home again. I made a fire against the wall of our house, and soon the house was burned to the ground. Then I burned the next house and the next. That day the village of Galazet was destroyed. My new home was on a small hill to the west. There were 2 little trees and a high, flat rock there. Behind the rock was an open place that the wind could not reach. A small stream ran through the ravine behind the rock. That night I slept on the rock. From there I could see the beach and the sea below me. It was too high for the dogs to climb. I did not know where they were now. They will soon find my new home, I thought. And perhaps they will attack me one day. I remembered my promise to myself. I was going to kill them and their leader. But I needed to find a way of doing it. The laws of Galazet did not let women make spears. But I needed protection now. I searched through the burnt huts, and I searched our boats. But I did not find any spears. Then I remembered the chest that the Alus brought to the island. Did the hunters take it away with them? Or was it somewhere on the beach? I looked around the place where Orlov stood before the fight. The sand was smooth, and I dug many small holes with a stick. Perhaps the storm covered the chest with sand. Suddenly my stick hit something hard. I moved the sand away with my hands. It was the top of the chest, and I opened it. The chest was filled with beads of many different colors. I forgot about the spears when I saw those pretty, shining things. I put on the longest string of beads and felt like a great chief's wife. Then I thought of the men who died on this beach. And I knew that I could never wear these beautiful things. I took the string of beads off and emptied the chest. I walked through the waves and threw everything into the deep water. There were no metal spearheads in the chest. I shut it and covered it with sand. One night the dogs came to the bottom of my hill. They could not see me on the rock, and they could not climb up to me. But they knew that I was near. And I listened to their noise until the early hours. I thought about our laws. I needed protection, but, as a woman, I could not make spears. I remembered what some villagers said. Perhaps the ground will move under my feet and great rocks will fall on top of me, I thought. My father was very clear on the subject. If a woman makes a spear, she cannot use it. It will break when she needs it most, he said. None of our women had ever made any spears. So, nobody knew if these fears were true or false. But my life was in danger. The dogs killed Ramo, and they wanted to kill me. The next night the dogs came again, and I decided to break the laws of our people. But my heart was full of fear. I needed a strong spear, a bow and some arrows. I decided to make the spear first and then the bow and arrows. I made my spearhead from wood, and I tied it tightly to a long, straight stick. The bow and arrows were very difficult. I had to search everywhere before I found the right kind of wood for the bow. I needed feathers for the arrows and stones for the arrowheads. In the past I often watched my father making these things, but never very closely. I did not think then that it was a useful skill for a woman. I had to make the stones sharp and tie the feathers to the wooden arrows. I worked for many days. Finally, I had a bow and arrows that I could use. After that I never left my rock without them. I practiced with them and also with the spear. I brought dry kelp from the beach and made a comfortable bed on the rock. I liked to sleep there under the stars. I did not need to get up early in the morning. I could watch the seabirds over the water and the otter playing in the kelp. The otter were back, and there were now as many as before. But while I lay there on the rock, I thought above all about the white men's ship. Every morning I looked first out to sea. I hoped that the ship was on its way. And every morning I saw only the birds flying over the waves. Winter ended and the spring came. Then spring ended too, but the ship did not come. Summer is the best time on the island of the Blue Dolphins. It is warm then, and the sea is calm. Every day I looked from my rock towards the east. That was where my people were. And the ship was going to come from there. Once I thought I saw a ship. But I was wrong. It was a gray whale. The weather changed, and the first storm of winter ended my hopes. I felt very lonely. I knew that the ship was not going to come in winter. I felt too unhappy to eat much. And terrible dreams woke me at night. Strong winds beat against the island from the north, and I had to move my bed to the foot of the rock. I collected a lot of wood so that there was always a good fire at night for protection. On the first night the dogs saw the light and came near. I killed 3 of them with my bow and arrows, but not the leader. The dogs did not come again. After the storm I went to the place where the boats were hidden. The dried food in the boats was fine, but I had to change the water. My idea was to leave the island. I will take a boat and go to the country in the east, I thought. Kimki sailed alone across that wide sea. The lonely island and the dogs seemed to be worse dangers than the waves. I did not feel afraid. I made a path of small stones and kelp. And along this path I pushed the smallest boat into the sea. It was afternoon when I paddled away from Gala's at. And I did not look back for half an hour. The island was then like a small cloud on the water. I continued to paddle until the evening. When I looked back again, I could not see the island of the Blue Dolphins. I was alone on the water. The boat went up and down on the rough, empty sea. And then I started to feel afraid. Night came, and the sea looked black. It was the same color as the sky. But a bright star was shining above me. I saw it and felt better. This, the North Star, helped to guide me on my journey. I kept it on my left and paddled on. During the night, water began to come into the boat. I emptied it out and then felt along the wet boards. Between two boards I found a long, thin hole where the water was coming in. I used a piece of my skirt to fill the hole. But in the morning my problems grew worse. A new and bigger hole formed between the boards. And I had to use more of my skirt to stop the water coming in. I knew then that the boards were weak. The boat was in a dangerous state. I was on the second day of my journey. The water continued to come into the boat. I thought of the lonely island and the dogs. I did not want to see either of them again. But the holes were getting bigger. The boards will start to break, I thought. Suddenly I knew that I could not go on. I turned back very sadly and paddled towards the island. A family of dolphins swam around the boat. Dolphins are always a good sign at sea. They were my friends too, and I did not feel lonely. They stayed with me until the evening and then they swam away towards the west. For a long time, I could see the sunlight on their wet backs. Night came, and I continued to see the dolphins in my mind. I think that these friendly animals saved my life. The night was very long, and I felt very tired. Twice I almost slept. The holes between the boards grew bigger. I had to work hard to empty out the water. My fears were greater than ever. But the sun came up at last, and the morning was clear. Far in front of me I could see the low shape of the island. I reached it at midday, and the waves carried the boat onto the beach. I fell when I climbed out. I lay happily on the dry sand. I was too tired to think about the dogs. Soon I slept. Comprehension questions. 1. Where is Karana's new home? 2. Why does Karana throw everything inside the chest into the deep water? 3. What does Karana need as a weapon for protection? 4. How does Karana get the boat into the sea? 5. When does Karana reach the island? Quick competition. Read the sentences below and find the correct adjective, adverb, verb etc. used in the story. 1. The sand was blank, and I dug many small holes with a stick. Gentle or smooth. 2. I did not think then that it was a blank skill for a woman. Useful or effective. 3. I did not need to get up blank in the morning. Late or early. 4. I like to sleep there blank the stars. Under or above. 5. I thought of the blank island and the dogs. Homeless or lonely. Thank you for listening to this chapter. Now, read the comprehension questions again and try to find the answers in the story. Then, do the quick competition part. Also, the answers are in the explanation part of the video. Check out your answers over there. Moreover, don't forget to subscribe for the new episodes. If you like this chapter, click the like button. To make this project more effective and beneficial, let me know in the comments below.